Shavua Tov to everyone. B'Shem Hashem Naseh v'Natzliach. Today's Learning Torah may be a merit for all Am Yisrael as a whole, and especially for the Chayalim and the Chatufim. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu watch them and protect them and bring them home safe. Rabotai, in Parsha Miketz, in Perek Mem Aleph, in Pasuk Tet Zayin, when Paro asked Yosef to interpret his dream, Yosef goes ahead and he interprets Paro's dream, but he takes himself out of the picture and he brings once again Hashem into the picture. Now I want to read for you the pasuk, but then I want to just go back a little bit to try to understand what was Yosef thinking then and there. The pasuk says, "Vaya'an Yosef et Paro lemor bil adai Elohim yaneh shalom Paro." Yosef answered Paro saying, "Besides me, Hashem is going to answer Paro's dream for your well-being." Rashi says, what does it mean, Bil Adai? In ha-chokhmah mishali, Rashi says, Yosef was telling Hashem that the wisdom doesn't come from me. Ela, rather, who does it come from? Elohim yaneh, Hashem is going to answer. Meaning, Yiten aniyah bifi, Hashem is going to give the answer in my mouth. L'shalom Paro, for Paro's welfare. And I'll be able to interpret your dream. Rabbeinu Bechaya goes in the same line, and he says, "Hey Shiv Yosef," when Yosef came to answer Paro, he answered him, "Ein kol chochma v'habina bi elachus mimeni." The wisdom and understanding when it comes to these things is not from me, but rather it's outside of me. Zeu shamar bil adai kol omer zulati. This is what he wanted to say. When he says bil adai, he's telling Paro, it's not from me, it's besides me, it's outside of me. Elohim yaneh shalom Paro. Rather, who's going to answer you, Paro? Hashem. God is going to answer you. Hakol ba mikoch Elohim shu bal hakachot kulan. Everything comes from the strength of God because He is the capable God of doing anything and everything. V'hu yazor otcha. And Hashem is going to help you, telling Paro. Mitzad hakalon, from the pain of the dream that you're having, and He's going to be the one who's going to interpret the dream. Rabotai, this is a Rashi and Rabbeinu Bechaya, but it's such an important lesson for life that a lot of us go through this and we don't even see this, Rabotai. Let's try to get understanding. What is going on over here? In the beginning of the Parsha, if you look into the beginning of the Parsha, in Perek Mem Aleph, in Pasuk Aleph, it says, and towards the end of the 2 years of, Yosef HaTzadik was finishing his sentence in the dungeon, Paro has a dream, Rabotai, and he's standing on the river. Again, this river, Rashi says, is man-made. V'hine mina yaor, olot sheva parot yefod mareh ubriot basar v'ter'en ba'achu. You have 7 healthy, beautiful cows that come out and they start now grazing in the swamp. והנה 7 פרות אחרות עולות אחריכם מן היאור העוד מראה ודקות בשר ותעמודן אצל הפרות על צוות היאור ותאכלנה הפרות לעוד המראה ודקות הבשר את 7 פרות יפה מראה והבריות ויקץ פרו. Rabotai, 1 second. Paro sees this dream of 7 healthy cows, and then he sees after them come out 7 weak cows, almost dying cows, and then these weak cows eat the strong cows, and then he jumps out of his nightmare, basically. Now, Rabotai, that's how we got to our pasuk now. Paro goes ahead and he calls all the interpreters. Nobody's able to interpret his dream, nothing. Okay, fine. So now Paro goes ahead and he finds out about Yosef, that he at one point interpreted the dream of the baker and the butler. So he says, bring him to me. Rabotai, let's try to understand honestly what's going on over here. Yosef HaTzadik, let's give him, at the age, let's say he was 20 years old. 20-year-old boy, Rabotai, in the dungeon, with no family, with nobody, Rabotai, to help him, after being sold. What was the first thing that Yosef was supposed to do when Paro asks him to interpret the dream? What would any one of us do? Look today, Rabotai, when a person wants to get a high position in a job, or if a person wants to go ahead and he wants to get a high-paying job, or he wants to get recruited into a job, or whatever the situation is, what do, Rabotai? We show our best abilities We show that what we're able to offer for the business because we want to get hired. I don't understand, Yosef HaTzadik. You come out of the dungeon and you bring God into the picture once again. You bring God into the picture. You speak about God to a person, to Paro, the ruler, Rabotai, who believes in no God. Try to speak today to a person who does, it doesn't have to be Jewish, and any person, Rabotai. Try to speak to an atheist about God. See how he's going to not talk to you. See how he's going to always go against you. Why in the world would Yosef HaTzadik go ahead and tell Paro God is going to answer? Not me, God. But why, Yosef? The least you can do is go ahead and tell Paro, show your capability. Show what you know. Show your wisdom. Show your brain power. So at the very least, Paro will take you out of the dungeon and he'll let you free. You can go at least not be there, be on top of the ground, but not underneath the ground. Rabotai, it's a very big problem how Yosef answered Paro. But in reality, Rabotai, when a person lives with God, that's not a problem. Because Yosef HaTzadik, he knew one thing and one thing only. He knew that God runs the world. He knew that everything revolves around God. Nothing revolves around us. Meaning at that point, him. Rabotai, listen to this. Yosef knew that there's no one else and nothing else in the world that can help him except Hashem. So you might ask me a question, but Yosef, you're taking a very big risk by, if Paro is not happy with what you're going to say, especially bringing God into the picture, he might throw you back into the dungeon. Why aren't you concerned for that? Rabotai, you should know, Yosef was not afraid of all this. Do you know why? Yosef, in his mentality, he had a rule. When it comes to the value of the Torah, when it comes to values of Torah, I don't compromise with this. This is how it is, Rabotai. Nothing about me, everything about Hashem. It doesn't matter, Rabotai, what Paro is going to think about me in his situation. But more importantly, Rabotai, how many of us go day in and day out with situations, with people that are bigger than us, or maybe more important than us, and how many of us compromise our Torah values? Yosef comes and tells you, and he comes and teaches you, do not compromise the Torah values for nobody, Rabotai. And what, Rabotai? A person thinking that, oh, if I'm not going to go to his wedding, if I'm not going to go to his Brit Milah, I'm not going to go to his Bar Mitzvah, I'm not going to do what my boss says, I'm not going to do what my wife says, I might as well compromise here, compromise there. So therefore I'm going to be able to win everybody's favor. I have news for you, Rabotai. You're not going to win nobody's favor. That's number one. Number two, listen to the proof from the Torah. Yosef had an option by showing his capability of interpreting the dream and coming out of the dungeon and being at least above ground. But what did Yosef do? But before that, he would have to compromise with the values of the Torah. He would have to put himself chas v'shalom before Hashem. But Rabotai, you know what Yosef did? He put Hashem before himself and before anyone else. And what happened to Yosef, Rabotai? What did Paro do to him? He made him second in power. Yosef ruled all over Egypt. He took care of the finances. All the people there, everybody in the world flocked to him for advice. Everything was in the hands of Yosef. Why, Rabotai? One reason only. Because he did not compromise the values of the Torah. But we, Rabotai, a lot of times we feel that if we're going to go ahead and we're going to give in and we're going to listen and we're going to try to break ourselves over here, bend the rule over there, and we think, Rabotai, in that way, we are supporting, or whatever language you guys want to use, doesn't matter. We think we're making the situation better. No, Rabotai, the least you're doing is you're going to make yourself above ground. But Rabotai, had you said no, you would have been beyond the ground. You would have been higher. You would have become greater, Rabotai. And this is the secret. Rabotai, at times we compromise our values and we forget why we are here and who we come to serve. And comes Yosef HaTzadik, Rabotai, and he teaches something important. It doesn't matter, Rabotai, the person that stands in front of you could be $1 billion guy, could be the next gadol, could be your father-in-law, could be your wife. It could be your employer, I don't know, Rabotai. It doesn't matter, Rabotai. When it comes, if it comes and it's going to interfere with the value of the Torah, nothing gets in my way. Yosef was trying to tell you over here, I want Paro to know that there's a God. But 1 second, I might get left. I don't care, Rabotai, because that's not what's going to happen. Because when a person goes in the ways of Hashem, what do you think? Hashem is going to abandon you? If Hashem, Rabotai, helps people, Risha'im, Rabotai, if Hashem helps them succeed, you think He's not going to help the tzaddikim? Rabotai, the world is run because of these people that go in the ways of Hashem. That's why in this week's Parsha, in Parsha Miketz, Vaya'an Yosef et Paro lemor bil'adai, Rabotai. Remember this verse. Take yourself out of the picture. The reason we give in majority of the times to people is because we're concerned about our honor. We forget, Rabotai, about Hashem's honor. Comes Yosef, he says, Elohim Ya'aneh. Before next time you want to do something, take yourself out of the picture. You don't exist. And say, let Hashem answer this question for me. Let Hashem decide. Go see what the halacha says. Ask a rabbi who's knowledgeable, Rabotai, in Torah. Ask Rabotai, what am I going to do, Rabbi? Should I go? Should I not go? Should I do? Should I not do, Rabotai? I make it clear, a rabbi who's knowledgeable in halacha. Very important, Rabotai. Not musar, not parshiyot, not the feelings that he has. No, Rabotai, halacha. Because, Rabotai, we need to understand, there's a lot of leniencies in halacha. There's a lot of things that you're allowed to do, a lot of things you're not allowed to do, etc. We need to know them. That's why, Rabotai, we need to learn from Yosef HaTzadik. If a person wants to go ahead and he wants to be able to serve Hashem with ease of mind, without any worry, Rabotai, don't worry, he's going to come back to you. Don't worry, he's going to honor you. Rabotai, Chazal tell us, one who runs away from honor, honor runs after him. Again, but that's not what you're doing. I'm just trying to show you, Rabotai. This is the way it works. If you go in the ways of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Rabotai, that's when you're going to be successful. If you do not go in the ways of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Rabotai, you will see, you will hit this wall, that wall. You think you made it eventually, you'll see you're going to go back down 100 steps. That's what, Rabotai, we need to remember this pasuk. Vaya'an Yosef et Paro, and that's how we have to be, Rabotai. Yosef answered Paro. We have to answer everybody else that comes in front of us. When they make us go against HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they don't know that it's against Hashem. Again, not everybody's learned, unfortunately. Doesn't matter, Rabotai. We respect every single person. But it doesn't mean, Rabotai, that I have to compromise the values of the Torah just because you're not happy with my decision. I do not compromise, Rabotai. So instead of over here, Vaya'an Yosef et Paro, Vaya'an, Rabotai, we have to answer the person that's standing in front of us. Lemor, bil'adai, I'm not in the situation. Elohim Ya'aneh, Rabotai. Hashem said I'm not allowed to go. Hashem said I'm not allowed to do X, Y, and Z. And you will see how easy, Rabotai, life becomes. And don't think people are not going to respect you. On the contrary, if anything, people are going to come to value you more. People are going to respect you more. Because they're going to see a person, Yireh Shamayim, a Ben Torah, Rabotai, a Bat Torah. They're going to see a person, a real person, not a toothpaste, Rabotai. One day he's like this, one day he's like this. One day like this, one day like this. No, Rabotai. You want to show people that we go 100% with Hashem. Not 99.9, whenever it's good for me, I go whenever. No, 100% I go with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rabotai, I just want to conclude. I was one time in a yeshua, I was sitting, as I was speaking. There was a person, whatever, I guess he was Syrian or Israeli, I don't know. But he was not Bukhari, whatever. He was sitting to my left, and he's like to me, come on, Rabbi, compromising, this is Baba Maitis. Come on, Rabbi, this is your Amag, this is your Chudo, this is your boss, this is... Sometimes you gotta break in, sometimes you gotta give in. I said, what does that mean, sometimes you gotta give in? So again, the guy has to keep on his head. He looks to me, listen, looks to me religious, meaning Shomer Shabbat, Kashrut, etc. I said to him, so what happens when somebody invites you to the beach? or somebody invites you to not a kosher party, or somebody invites you to the movies, or somebody invites you to a club or a place where you're not supposed to be, what do you do then? Or somebody invites you to his house instead of learning Torah, he takes you away from learning. What do you do? How does the whole situation work? So you know what he told me? He said, you go. I said, why do I have to go? He says, listen, you want to go, you want to try to make him feel comfortable, you want to support him, you want to be there for him. Rabotai, listen to this carefully. I asked the guy one simple question. And this you guys can ask yourselves. I asked the guy, what do you do? He said, I'm in real estate. I said, fine. You have properties for sale? He says, yes. An average, what does a property go? 1.5, 2 million, whatever. Okay. I told him, let me ask you a question. I said, tell me, if I want a property that's worth, let's say, for 1.5, and I will offer you 150,000, will you give it to me? You know what he did? Right then and there he said, are you crazy? Are you serious? What kind of thing? What this is? You rabbi? No, I'm not a rabbi. No, I'm what? I'm a gabbai. What do you care what I am right now? Rabotai, what do you mean? I ask you a simple question. 150,000. You yes or no? Why are you attacking me? Tell me no. And finish why you're attacking me. Rabotai, you know what the guy said? He said, do you know what you're talking about? This is money. You know money, you never settle for money. Money is money. I said, money. I said, look at this. I said, take it easy. First, take it easy, man. I'm not planning to pay not even $1. Take it easy. But listen to this, I said. It came to your house that doesn't even belong to you. And that house you were probably going to make 100,000 on top or not. Maybe 50,000 on top. You almost wanted to eat me alive. That you don't want to compromise. But when it comes to your eternity, when it comes to Ulam Haba, that you wanna compromise. Oh, well, okay, let my friend take me. But do you know by going to a place where you're not supposed to be, the averes that you do, how much it's going to cost you tomorrow? How many years of suffering, Rabotai? It's eternity. It's not 1 minute. It's not something that you win the lottery and you can pay it off. It's eternity of suffering if you don't do teshuvah. Do you think it's so easy? Yeah, he looked at me, he says, you know, Rabbi? Oh, now I'm a rabbi. He said, you know, Rabbi, I never thought of it like that. I said, why don't you think of it like that? Why, when it comes to your car, to your nice BMW, your nice Mercedes, your nice Bentleys, if it gets one scratch, it bothers you inside. But why, Rabotai, when it comes to the values of the Torah, when we scratch the Torah, when we show no respect to the Torah, we go ahead and we overlook like nothing happened. Rabotai, because we are desensitized. This is the whole thing what Yosef Atzadik is trying to teach us. Rabotai, when it comes to our Torah values, do not compromise it. It doesn't matter where you are. It could be in the shul, Rabotai. Just this past week, Rabotai, again, you have to understand, you know, people, I don't know, I speak about this a lot, but I don't know how people don't understand, Rabotai. A shul is not a shul of place where you gather and talk. A shul is a place where you daven. A shul is a place where you speak to God. So you decide to come now and make it a social club, Rabotai. I don't understand. So here I am, you know, you try to tell them a few times, don't speak. But people don't seem to get it. And this is, do you know why? Oh, they say, oh, but he's speaking to me. But I'm asking you a question. But aren't you compromising the values of the Torah? If the Shulchan Aruch, Rabotai, clearly tells us it's asur to speak during Chazar Tashat, during the Aliyot, during the reading, Rabotai, there's many halachot in this. And we had one time sure on this whole thing. Why do we still continue doing it? Very simple, Rabotai. Because we are afraid that we're going to look like a fool in the eyes of these people if we're not going to answer. Therefore, Rabotai, comes Yosef Atzadik, and Yosef Atzadik tells you, Rabotai, do not ever compromise on Torah values. One who doesn't compromise on Torah values, not only, Rabotai, you'll be over here, Hashem is going to raise you to the highest levels possible. And how do you do it, Rabotai? By going only in the ways of Hashem. May everyone have a blessed week, a strong week, a week of parnasa, a week of bracha, a week of hatzlacha. May you see nachat from your children, Rabotai. May we increase in our learning Torah, in our doing mitzvot. More now than ever, Rabotai, we need it with the situation that's going on in Israel. We need to, Rabotai, stop all the shtuyot, Rabotai. I do not want to speak about anybody or anything. But many people came up to me and they told me, Rabbi, there's parties like this. People, Rabotai, do not speak bad about people. Do not open up the Satan's mouth. It's bad enough as it is what's going on in Israel. I don't want to hear it. But Rabotai, as I'm sitting over here, I do want to mention one very important thing. Do not forget we are still in time of war. Please do not compromise on the Torah values, because this right now is going on in Israel. This can spill out to other countries like the prophets do bring down. Right now you think this country is supporting Israel, that country is supporting Israel. Rabotai, it's only a matter of time when everybody is going to turn against Israel. We need you. We need the real soldiers of Hashem, Rabotai. They're the ones that are fighting the war over there. But we're asking, Rabotai, that the people that are not in the war, please fight the battle outside of the war by not compromising your Torah values. Have a great Shavuot Tov.